thank you so much for coming in this afternoon for me. I appreciate it. And it kind of seems like it might rain. Or it is raining.
It's drizzling.
So, no, I have swim.
You don't
But thank y'all. So today,
I don't. Cute.
I have enough respect for y'all to speak to you guys without coming on. So thank you and welcome to Dimension 101. So today, I'm Vanessa Williams. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. Some faces are very familiar to me, some faces are not. Sorry if you've seen me before and I don't really remember you. Charge it to my heart, not my mind. Or charge it to my mind, not my heart. But today is one of my favorite classes. So what is the number one, what is the most common service that we provide in salon? Besides the color. Right. So what, I have, this is my joke. When clients bring in a picture to me and they're like, oh, I want this color. And I'm like, so, and it's of course, the client, the person that they're showing you is standing in front of a white wall. Pretty sure there's some overhead lighting, some photography lighting involved. And I'm like, okay, so just the color? And they're like, yeah, just this one color. And I'm like, okay, well, which one of your friends is gonna walk around with a ring light? Because that, what you're showing me, and you see all this dimension, we have to put dimension in, right? Because we've all done a one process, and they're like, but it's not like the picture. And it's like, well, actually, take them outside, you take a photo, and it's like, just like the picture, but they don't understand that nuance has to be created, and they don't understand, and I always ask guests when they show me that, I'm like, okay, do you want it to look like that in every lighting? Because that's a different conversation, right? Like, I can give you that color, but they don't understand that when an area is completely saturated, or if there's so much density to the hair, when you saturate it with a pigment, it becomes flat. And it's not that the natural highlights aren't there, it's just that depending on what color line we use, there's a certain level of opacity, right? Like we know that Colestine is going to give you, Colestine and Color Touch are going to give you complete saturated opaque color. Yes. They'll hide a multitude of sins, but they will, it's going to be complete saturation, right? And then we also know that when we're working with Illumina and Shinefinity, we get a little bit more of a translucent effect, right? You're fine. So we're going to talk about that and also how to initiate that conversation with a guest.
That's what I was going to ask you, if you had some good questions to ask during the consultation.
Yes. So a lot of times, do you want me to go over there now or you want me to go through?
You do your thing.
Okay, well,
that's going to be a question I'll ask somewhere. So
okay, well, let's
you want.
tag your head on, right? So with a guest, I'm real big on photos, personally. Like, show me what you're looking at. And I'm also really big about explaining to them, could you expand the picture and show me exactly what you're looking at? Because sometimes as hairdressers, we overwhelm ourselves by thinking way beyond what the client may actually be, right? We look at a photo and we are looking at their natural level, we start dissecting immediately. She's legit looking at the fringe, right? Or she's looking at a low light in the hair. But you've already decided, try to figure out how am I gonna attack, how am I gonna transcribe this photo onto this person's head, especially if it's like a regular guest. Because my favorite thing is, I ask my clients, you have to give me 1 weekday appointment, maybe 2 a year. Just in case we want to change something. Because you know, we all have our Saturday regulars, and they're great, love them down. But also, Saturday is like, I call it sort of like a rut day. Like you're just going through the motions. Like we're just applying, we're assisting, we're doing what we need to do. We're getting through the day because we're out the door by 2 p.m., right? 3 at the latest, 6 if something goes wrong. Something has gone wrong if I'm leaving at 6. Or I'm doing a coworker's hair. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'll stay late on. I would rather stay late on Saturday because I know I'm gonna have Sunday off than to stay late during the week to do your hair. And I'm not coming in on Sunday to do free work. Love you. Have a key to the building. Not building it. So, but yeah, so when I talk to guests, I'm like, okay, I would like to have, and then I also explain when I'm dealing with 1PC guests, like, hey, you need to give me 2 balayages or 1 or 2 highlights a year. If you don't give me that, it's not going to have dimension. I have to put the dimension in. Okay? It's just kind of like when you tone, it's like toning. Either I'm enhancing the warmth or I'm completely diminishing it or neutralizing the warmth, unnecessary warmth, right? So in order for me to give you the dimension and for it to look like the photo, it has to have some highlights put in it. Especially if you know you're not an outside girly, or if you are an outside girly, you look like, you know, okay, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm forced to be outside for an extended amount of time, there's a hat involved, there's some gloves, there's some long sleeves. I'm not fighting the clock, I just am not trying to speed it up.
My wife's all about that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, like the amount of peptides I have on my face right now, and even in my makeup is ridiculous. But that's one of the things that I always think about, like, what, you know, in order for us to create this beautiful, solid color, we have to go in and put in dimension, right? So, well, expectations. These are my expectations, and then I'm gonna go around and ask you guys to remind me your first name and give me your expectation from today's class. So my expectation is we are obviously running on time, yay for us, I was early. Breaks, they're given, we're all adults, do what you need to do when you need to do it. I'm not gonna police that. Please, please, please ask questions because that's more my teaching style. I have the slides to stay on track, but I'm completely open to you as it comes across your head. I live with someone with ADHD and dyslexia. I may possibly be undiagnosed Gen X. This person is probably, yeah, okay? So I don't mind. I have the slides to keep me on task. Please share your experiences. And even if you disagree with something I'm saying, please share with me why you disagree because that helps me build my arsenal and prepare me for other stylists that may run across that information. So I'm open, always open. I'm here just like you guys. I still work behind the chair. I just happen to have this opportunity to teach, but I'm just another hairdresser like you, ladies and gentlemen, like you guys. So please participate in a group activity, even if it's from a coaching and advisory position, please participate. And I don't care about phones. It's not that serious. Like I said, I'm good with someone who has dyslexia and ADHD. If you have to scroll, fidget, fobble, bumble, wobble, I am okay with it.
Bumble, bumble.
Fumble, bubble, or wobble. That's what I got.
I like it.
Because you know, some people have to, and I get it. You see
The
me
phones
pay.
are gonna be connected to us for the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah, there's no going back to analog.
No.
It's forced.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to analog either, if I'm going to be transparent. I like texting my kid in another room. Hey, you need to get this and this and this and this and this and this done. There's no talking back. There's no eye rolling on my end. I love it.
There you go.
So, creating dimension. Are you team foiling or team balayage?
But
Yes.
Sometimes you gotta foil the foliage.
100%.
Sometimes you got a foliage.
Okay, can I tell y'all something? You know what I am super gassed about moving forward? Do y'all realize that this is gonna be the summer of like old school foiling? Do you know how back in style I'm about to be? I am living as an old person doing hair, like as someone who came up in the late 90s, early this is my jam. I was like, yes! And they were like, really? And I'm like, I was just in there. I was in my groove, we had good music. Somebody put on house music. I was like, I was locked in. I was like, yes.
full party.
Totally. Now, mind you, that afternoon I was in bed by 5 p.m. There was a lot.
That's our party too.
Yeah. A friend of mine is a DJ in Houston, and she said her busiest, best nights are early bird DJ session on Fridays and Sundays. So Friday is like a mix of like techno and house, and Sunday is like really loungy kind of vibes.
Yeah.
She said I get the best tips, and everything wraps up at 7:45 p.m. She goes, and by 9 I'm in gym jams, no makeup. I was like, yes. So we're making a comeback, y'all. That's 40s and ups. So balayage is going to give you a very, very super lived-in solo result, right? We all know that. We can manipulate how long it lasts for them, but we also need to talk to them extensively about coming in for regular toning appointments. Marty and I were talking about this. Yes, in essence, a balayage could last you 4 to 6 months. In reality, I still need to see you in 6 to 8 weeks. I still need to see you for a haircut. I still need to see you for the tone. Because 9 times out of 10, the head of hair that walks in 6 months is not the head of hair I sent out the door
It is not.
the previous 6 months. Also, you know they addicted to purple shampoo. God bless them. But they are. So I'm always big on like, I need to do like a clarifier on you. You need to come in and let me do whatever you do for a clarifier, because we don't sell anything like that anymore. Well, you could use like a little bit of bleach cleaner. But I digress. But like I said, I need them to come in at least. I need to see you because some things are changing. Also, medications, if you're in your mid-30s, you're stressed, or like late 20s, early 30s, your clients are also, y'all are getting not too far. 10 years is not that far from where I am. So like you have to think about their hair is going to change every decade. Established hairstyles, right? You notice that their hair changes every decade. So be mindful of that. Also, talk to your single processors. Talk to them. Ask them what they're looking at. You know what I end up asking my guests that are in their like late 20s that are like, I need to do gray coverage, I need to do gray coverage. How long you plan on doing that? Or is there going to be a point where I'm going into a highlight?
Yeah, you gotta think long term.
You have to.
You know?
I tell every guest, I look at it like we have a 10-year relationship. And I would never forget, I was a young stylist in the class, she was like, you think you're gonna have the client for 10 years? My goal is.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I got clients that I've had for 20, 30 years since the inception of my career. I still have them. They'll even come in from out of town. Maybe not for the everyday services, they may have somebody back where they live now, but they still come in for the big changes. So I talk to them and I'm like, hey, so what are we doing in 10 years? What does the next 5 months, 5 years, and decade look like for us? Because I don't want to keep going in with Coleston, or I don't even want to start them on Coleston if it's 6 gray hairs.
Right.
I can go in with Illumina or Color Touch depending on how thick their hair is, especially if I know at some point we're going to need to break this up and create dimension.
Right.
Y'all's generation of client that we're dealing with your generation, especially like the people that are established, so we're dealing with your generation all the way to our generation. So the technology is so different than when we started. Everything was complete saturated color. But now you have translucent color, you have veils of color, you have smudging, you have all these different things that you can bring to your client that create dimension. Because once you go in with that opaque color, you essentially
It's in there.
flat. It's in there, but it's flat.
Yeah.
It's not 2 to 3 dimensional. And unfortunately, that's what AI photos are. They give us a more of a 3 or 4 dimensional take on a traditional color service. And the AI color class is gonna be so exciting, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I would tell y'all to do the best thing you could do for that AI color class is find as many AI photos that you like and have them saved in your photos, because you're gonna learn how to break them down. And I'd rather learn to break down something I'm interested in looking at as opposed to something somebody else is. So I always tell everybody, even the vivids, for people who do vivids, I would say have some AI photos.
That's color class number 4 that we're doing this year.
So like each one of these classes, be looking at a photo that we are talking about in these classes that you can break down when you finally get to that class. It's exhilarating. I feel like it's the most, especially if you're into tech or what the future of hairdressing is going to be. That class completely had me interested and engaged and locked in. Foiling. Foiling is a very traditional service, right? It creates the most nuance and dimension because you have more control at how far and how low you're going to place that foil, right? Also with balayage, you can do a mixture. So personally, depending on what the client wants, I will foil the front because that's where they want to see the most impact, and I may balayage and diffuse the back and the rest of the way.
Throughout.
So, and when you do that and you're doing that in combination with a single process, it looks natural, right? So, consultation. 3 steps to the consultation, but each step has its own in-depth way of looking at your approach to talking to your guests. Again, like I said, I'm real big on photos, and I also like to have a consultation before they're smocked.
Really?
See their style.
I want to see their vibes.
Yeah.
Because just because someone is edgy doesn't mean they're just edgy. They could be edgy, but there's like, what's her name, Betsy Johnson edgy, and then there's Vivian Westwood edgy. Because you can be edgy with an unlimited budget, and we could really get in there and do some things. But you also can be edgy more on a constricted budget, but we can still break things up into certain segments, into various different appointments. So it's all about seeing what the class level is, not just what their style is.
You have some questions to ask to figure out which path to go there?
We're going to go ready each slide. So the next one is going to be destination. What are we actually trying to do? Where are we going? Like, what is it that you actually want to see? And then step 3 finally is your service. Because in step 1 and 2, we're going to break down a lot. So identify who's your client. What's her personality and lifestyle? What her commitment and budget are. That's another.
That's a big one.
Because that's a big one. Because I know very well how uncomfortable it is to talk money. I don't like to do it, but I have to because I like paying my bills on time. So we have to talk budget, like seriously. And it's not, and I don't mean to say that to say talk it to the point of where you make them uncomfortable, but just so everybody doesn't have sticker shock when we get them up to the front door.
Right.
Because I don't think that's fair to them, nor is it to you. So.
And that doesn't build long-term, 10-year
No,
plans.
it does
either.
not really build trust, respect, or anything
Right.
like that. So, personality and lifestyle. Oh, and technical analysis, and is this actual service that we're going to perform suitable for this guest? So, what is she inspired by fashion-wise? Who is she looking at, and who is she wearing? Right? And I don't ever, like, and when I say that, I don't mean like as a label thing. I mean like my kid, I can speak for my kid and my aesthetic. My aesthetic is, I like really basics. I like a lot of basics, but I like basics that I can layer and do different things with. And I'm not gonna lie, because of what we do for a living, and I train a lot of like newer stylists in my salon space, I don't wear anything expensive unless I'm going somewhere, because I know somebody's gonna ruin it.
Yeah, somebody is.
Yeah, somebody is. It's not gonna be. And then like, when I say that, people are like, "Oh, not you." And I'm like, "If you've ever worked with me, I am so neat. It's insane." So no, it's not gonna be me. I'm not gonna get me dirty. Somebody else is gonna help me.
Sounds like Preston.
So,
Well, I'm
and
guilty.
I always tell people, a dirty vest, a dirty smock is not a badge of honor to me. You terrify me. I'm officially afraid of you. So.
You'd be terrified in my salon.
Listen, and I'm okay with that, friend, because nothing I have on is more than $20.
I have a $13 limit.
See, I'm sheen all the way, but I like nice things. So that's it, but I do like very classic style. So, and then I always ask them how do you see yourself?
I like that.
How do you see yourself? And also show me who you were. Who were you before your kids? Who were you before you got married? Because I kind of think, I'm not gonna lie, every client, man, woman, or child, if you ask them to show them a favorite picture of themselves when they were young and now, you'll see a through line.
That's interesting.
So, and everybody has one in their phone. Like, I literally have 6 pictures at different phases of my life and my kids' life that are in my favorites. So if you ask me something like that, I'm like,
You got
let me
it.
show you. You know, so I always be mindful of that. And remember, we see our guests at their best and their worst and at every single milestone. We see them, right? So I think that's really hit home for me because my brother just passed away. And so it's one of those, thank you. It's one of those things where it's like, I didn't realize what my through line is in my photos until I saw all these sequences of photos spread out. And it was really weird, but it was one of those things, and I could see my brother's aesthetic, and it made what they put him in when he was laid to rest make so much sense. Because he got laid to rest in jeans and a t-shirt. And everybody was so aggravated. I was like, no,
That's him.
Wait,
that's
what?
him. He had a band shirt on,
Yeah.
and it was a Gap band t-shirt, and I was like, I remember when he got that shirt is so old. I was like, I wish I would've got that.
He's happy.
He's comfortable.
He's comfy.
Yes.
And his work jacket, and my sister was aggravated about the work jacket, and I was like, he was had his sticker jacket on. But like those are things that you will notice. So people be mindful of those things when you do talk about change. Also hear them, because those are the moments when they want to do the biggest changes, but maybe we wait, put a pin in it, but don't forget it, because it's something you can bring up at a later date when we're a little bit more even keeled. It's like work up divorces and deaths. I'm like, ooh, no, we're not making that big change today.
Event, man, I
Yeah.
like for it.
Or after a big one. Commitment and budget. How often do you see that guest? And are you talking to them about how if you spread things out, it's not such a big hit at one appointment at a time?
Yep.
Like if you spread out your toners, that's a big thing. To me, or you don't, every single process doesn't need a gloss,
Right.
you know? And just having those conversations, because I have a guest that I would do a gloss on her every single time. And one day she just looked at me and she said, I have 3 years for retirement. I have 1,000 days until I'm done. I was like, okay. And so I was like, so what's the plan? She said, I don't need to pull through, I don't need the second part at the bow every time. I want to kind of lighten it up because I want to embrace my gray. I don't think I'm going to completely go gray like you, but I want to embrace it. My conversations with my guests that are older are very different when it comes to creating dimension, because a lot of times we're creating dimension to transition out of full coverage, gray coverage. My clients got to watch me transition from being very dark, like I used to be a level 3 brunette, and then they saw me transition into something warmer, and then into blonde. They watched me transition all the way through and keeping my curl pattern intact. So there's a different conversation arc there because they've seen it, and I was very vocal when I hated my warm color because it just doesn't compliment me. I do not like it at all. Like if I'm gonna be red, I am a red violet kind of gal. But that copper was, I was gonna die. Well, I had to change my makeup, and I didn't learn that.
Well, and also I think as we get older, certain colors that may have worked when we were 20 don't work when we're 50.
They do not work in your 30s or 40s. And your lifestyle changes.
Indeed.
So I went lighter because I had a kid, and there was no way I was gonna be every 2 weeks. 2 weeks to do just a partial touch-up, and 4 weeks to say every 2 weeks I was doing gray coverage. Because you can't have roots and be a hairstylist. Like that math doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. So I'm very cognizant of that. So I'm like, okay, we'll do. So she didn't want to do a highlight. She was just like, just let it fade out. And now she went from being a 6 to now she's an 8. But that was a consultation. She made it a point to make a weekday appointment to talk about what changes she wanted to make. And how much time do they spend? Honestly, how much time do they spend doing their hair before whatever they do? Not just in the morning, but like how much time? Because what you do to go out is not the same effort you put in to go to work. So like I need to know, because like we're hairdressers, right? We only come in 2 gears, train wreck or show pony. Like, that's all we got. Seriously. Like you said, I'm like, hair's done, makeup not. Like, but I'm gonna tell you, somebody told me something and it was the biggest takeaway for me. She said, the goal, especially with everything we have going on, and when you feel like you're in a rough patch in life, your goal should be to do 2 of the 3. Either dress up and do your makeup, or do your hair and dress up, or dress for the day.
You're not gonna do it all.
You don't force yourself, don't put pressure on you, especially if you're going through an emotional rough patch for whatever reason. How much money do you spend on your hair each month? Not services in the salon, but are you coming in and buying product? What does that look like for you? What does your hair budget look like, with the exception of coming into the salon every month? And then here's our part. We have to ask them what's going on with their hair history, right? Like when's the last, especially if they're a new guest. So I have a theory that it doesn't matter what, no matter where you are in your career, every new guest is a color correction.
Yes.
That is, that is a hill I am willing to go to battle on. Every new guest is a color correction. Especially, and you have to be a super sleuth. You have to ask questions, not just like that's such a vague question. Tell me about your hair history. I'm going to ask you, let you know how I work this in. Like, so, when was the last time you were in the salon? When was the last time you had a wild night and did something to your hair at home?
Yeah, that's a good one.
When was the last time you went on a girls trip and y'all thought it'd be a great idea to do something crazy? Because like those things are important because those things have an effect. Did y'all go to like Miami and everybody picked up like some overtone and somebody had blue hair, somebody had pink hair, like it's a bachelorette party, or it was a birthday party, or it was a dirty 30, your funky 40s, whatever. Like, did you do something that the minute light, it may not be there to the naked eye, but the minute I put that lighter on there, it's gonna tell me everything.
Even if it was 3 years ago and it's all the way down here.
Right.
If you have not had a bob in the last 3 years, it is on there. I always tell
It's
them.
always the really long hair.
They
And
think
then
it's
they don't
not
tell
there
them, and then
anymore,
at the
but it
bowl, it's like, why is your hair pink?
On the tips.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm very much, that conversation is, because what I've run into, and the reason why I ask that is because I have a lot of clients that are ladies of a certain age and they are no longer in corporate jobs, so they're now doing the things that they couldn't do in their 20s, late 20s and early 30s because now they have the financial resources and they don't have to answer to anyone, so they're taking more risks on their downtime, but also we pay for that in the salon if we're not prepared, like you said, to see pink or green or blue. on the ends of your hair because you did something. So I always ask those questions. And then how I word, do you know your skin tone? How I word that behind chairs. When was the last time you seen a makeup artist? And then let me see your arms. What do you consider yourself? Because a lot of times they don't know, and I always tell everybody, I don't know is a valid, firm answer. And it's not a wrong answer, and it's not a bad answer. So if you don't know, I'd rather you say that. But I don't think that's more my expression than my kid. But like I always tell people, I don't know is a valid answer, and I accept it. So don't feel bad about it. And then people tell you, I don't know, I think I lean more towards these types of clothes. Because it kind of helps you understand how they perceive color. Because it's not just your perception, but you also have to work within their perception of what warm and cool looks like.
That's the most important thing.
Yes, how do they see themselves? So I'm big on that. And then again, which ties into, do you prefer cool or warm tones in your hair? How do you like your hair to look? Like I have a client, she's a bleaching tone. And we cut every 3 visits to kind of keep it up, but she's dead bang she is not, I think she's every 5 weeks. Because 4 weeks would be too soon, and 6 weeks is just too much time.
Can't go 6 weeks with all the bleach, yeah, that's too much.
So it took us, we just found our happy medium. She said, play with all the toners. I would like to see how you see things, and then I'll let you know what I like. So of course, being here, first thing I did was I bleached out and I made it all cool.
Yeah.
Like, because once the lighting was on, I could see all the banding. So I was like, oh no, we're gonna make it all cool and have an even palette. And she was like, okay, I liked it 4 weeks in after finishing and said, oh, so you like warm. She says, okay, yes, I think that's what it is that I like.
Way to
So
test
then-
it out.
Mhm. So then I made it all the way warm, and she was like, that was too.
Because you know it's going to turn warm anyway,
Yeah.
so you have to kind of
I
stay ahead
said,
of it.
so now I know you're neutral. So now her toner is, but I went in with Shinefinity, but now I know her toner will be 10 stroke 3-6. Because it's just a perfect
Little bit more,
champagne.
yeah.
Mhm. So, but it's, exactly, so it's like, but it's communication and seeing, and she was open to see what I saw in comparison to what she saw. But we had to talk about it. And she's funny because she's from LA, she's like, I've never had a person have a consultation with me every time I come in. I said, well, you change. Things happen, circumstances change. So I'm big on consultation. So, second part of your consultation, destination. I'd like to start from the bottom and work my way up.
There you go.
What's going on with this hair? Like I tell everybody, as hairdressers, our hands are a second set of eyes. What we see and what it feels like may not always jive. And that's when you kind of have to have that, turn the chair around. I'm going to have to sit down, I'm going to lift you up and let you tell me what's going on. Because sometimes people need to feel in control. My mom taught me something, and it stuck with me throughout all 30 plus years of my career. And it is that some people in this life can only control their appearance. They have no control over everything else. They're just going along to get along. And you cannot come and take that control away from them. You have to maintain their respect. So that's how I approach it. I'm like, okay, so I'm touching your hair, and what it feels like and what you're telling me you have going on, I don't ever want you to feel like I think you're lying. I'm just saying it feels like a risk for me that I'm not sure if you want to take it. So I'm going to do a strand test, and then we're just going to see where we are. And somebody was like, do you strand test everybody? I don't know you yet.
No, nice.
I strand test everybody. I have more time to strand test you than I do to deal with the correction I made. Because that's going to piss me off. Because I am booked 45s, so I know where I'm supposed to be. And I also share clients with the lady who owns the salon because she doesn't cut. So I have haircuts in between my color services. So I can't be hanging out at the bowl.
Right.
Yeah, babysitting something.
Something that I could have avoided to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always, when I'm strand test, I have more time for that than I do to fix the correction, a self-imposed correction. And then we're going to talk about it. These ends feel crazy. I don't know what this is. Are we cutting today? And what does cutting look like for you, right? Because sometimes they're like, oh no, just the ends. Oh, I only get 2 haircuts a year. Okay, all right. Okay, that one drove me crazy. When everybody was trying to have mermaid hair, I was so glad when people started being transparent about their extensions because that made life so much easier for them. Because they're like, no, I'm growing it out. It's like,
Yeah, I know.
it doesn't look great, you know, but you can't say that. You
It
have to
doesn't
be like,
mean you don't ever get a haircut just because you're growing it out.
exactly. If anything, you need to get it more frequently.
Right.
Also, do you have any challenges? Are we dealing with dry scalp psoriasis, wet dandruff, all these different things? Because medicated shampoos alter what? Color and texture, depending on what's going on, right? We've all had clients that use that psoriasis shampoo and their hair feels like it's coarse.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very dehydrated hair, for lack of better words. So that also has an effect on how the color is going to appear and how light you can go using lightening products, right? And what don't you like? It's as simple as that. What don't you like on your hair? I don't want, some people, they don't want to sit through the foiling process. You automatically know that that's going to be a balayage person. I don't like how long that takes. It's fine. It alleviates a lot of things. But then you do have to explain, well, if you want brightness around your face, I am going to have to put that in the foil to control warmth. Usually they're okay with a partial highlight and then balayage the rest, most people. Now, subtle or drastic change. And what does that look like timing-wise for you? Because if you get here at 11 and you know pickup needs to be, you need to be in the car or at the school by 2:30, maybe we do this on another day. Or maybe we make arrangements. Because, I mean, I can't get it done in that amount of time. Also, we're looking at the pictures. At this point, we're talking about subtle drastic change. We're looking at the pictures. We're looking at the hair. We've already explained to them, maybe not in grave detail, what the lifting process is going to look like, but we've explained something, right? So is this going to fit in your time budget and your financial budget? Also, I err on the side of maxing it out and letting them tell me what things we can, and then I tell them what things we can't. Like, we're never going to not tone, so we can't take toner off. That's not an option. But we can talk about if we need to do a root smudge, or maybe I'm better about backcombing and buffing my lines out so that we don't have to do a root smudge. Or maybe we're just doing a balayage and then we're just doing an all over color. Because the all over color, I'm not going to charge you for a root color and a toner. I'll just charge you the fee that I charge for an all over color. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, to help make it more cost conscious for them. But also explaining to them, like, I have to do something over this highlight here. Like, I can't just let you leave wrong. Right? Maybe we don't do a haircut today. Maybe we do a haircut when you come in for your toner in a few weeks. Right? Like, those things matter. Now, if I'm taking pictures, I'm going to clean this up. Like, I'm going to do a little something. But that doesn't mean you don't come in for your actual toner and haircut appointment just because I dusted your ends today. I am very specific about that. You need to come in for a haircut because I'm not going to, cleaning up something is not the same as going and thoroughly putting in layers where they need to be, taking weight out where it needs to be taken out, and things of that nature. So I'm very clear on that. And then tell me what type of change you want to have. Because that's different. Some people, okay, let's just call it thing a thing. Y'all out here, y'all have a lot of real estate people, right? Yes. They have to look like the picture on that thing, on their adverts. I don't know what that is, but I think it's like a universal conversation they have when they become realtors. But like, they cannot, them, and I found this out working in the city, dealing with, as well as people who work on the news, they have to look, or people who act, they have to look like their headshots. So always communicate is something, even though they think they know what they're saying to you, reiterate, do you want subtle or drastic, or what can you actually do?
You're on a scale of 1 to 10, how much change do you want to experience today?
Yes.
Like,
No, how
something I
much
ask my
change?
people a lot, you know?
That too, and if you are dealing with a realtor, how much change are you allowed?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's the latitude?
Yeah.
That's really the question. Sometimes you have to. Regular guests is the 1 to 10 for sure, but like definitely people who have a fixed look, because you
Not a lot
gotta
of
know
wiggle room
People on
there, yeah.
TV, they all have a
Yes.
specific look, they can't
Oh, yeah.
change
they
too
can't
much.
change it. And that is, or if they're your established client, what does your producer say you can do?
Exactly, because they have headshots that
Yes.
actually do.
And producers will tell it. learn
Someone
something
have
else.
it in the contract. for that.
If you clash with the set, because changing your hair color means they have to change your wardrobe,
Yep.
and then they have to look at the set itself and your lighting.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. So that's why I'm always like, I always ask, something. Color, cut, style, and direction. So I say, like I said, max your ticket out. This is what, ideally, to get you everything you want today, this is what it looks like. And then I say, these are the things that I definitely think you should do today if it's in your budget. And then that's the part that we kind of work within. And then, because I don't ever spend anybody else's money for them. I don't know what you got going on, and it's not my business. You're gonna tell me anyway, because we're gonna go together at this appointment, so I'll know what I need to know next time on how to plan out our next booking. So I always give them that and give them the option. And then, who are you inspired by? They say, what celebrities? Because celebrity is such a vague term, right? Because some people are extremely into influencers and reality people, which I don't necessarily consider that celebrity like I would like a movie star or television actor or people who do plays and stuff like that. So like, who are you inspired by?
You have to be under 25 to consider those people celebrities.
I don't know. I have a client, she's not that far off in our age range.
Yeah.
But
And
she's
her Insta literally is top
Okay.
influenced by everyone.
Wow, she must be into Bravo TV.
She's into everything because she's an attorney. She's
Oh,
like-
okay, so she's educated.
Yeah, so she's like, when I put the TV on, it is legit to check out. I don't want to think about anything. But she tries all the stuff, and she's actually built a cool little following on Instagram and TikTok, basically trying out products. So I was like, okay.
Oh.
So it's really interesting. She has resources to do that. She's a lawyer married to a lawyer. Life is really good on her.
Ooh.
There you go.
So, but she always tells me, like, this is what I'm looking at. This is the style I'm looking at. These are the things I'm looking at. We all have clients like that. Like, they have a little fun money, little mad money, and they play around with stuff. Ask them who they're inspired by. And I also like dealing with clients like that because when you have a client, I don't really pay attention to celebrities. I'm not on social media like this. I'm like, bro, we all scroll. We all walk into the doctor's office, assess the room, like, I'm not talking to nobody in here, and we pull out our phones and, go, like, so that's something you're looking at, right? And what do you love about your hair? Like, what's the one thing you genuinely like about your hair that you wish you could play up more? So, like, for me, I like my natural curls. I like having curls. Even though I have a smoothing treatment on my hair now, I like the way the smoothing treatment, I like how I iron my hair for my smoothing treatment because I iron my hair with the thought process of not just sleek, but I like my hair to dry the way it looks when it's wet. So that's why I do a smoothing treatment. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So like my hair is wet and I come through and I have product in and I'm like, we should look like this all
Don't
the
stay
time.
that way though. Unless you-
It doesn't stay there
Yeah,
because of
of
course my curls
Curls are
they
crazy.
shrink. Yeah. So now with this treatment, like my hair, I have the perfect Meg Ryan vibe. I love my hair. It's very what was that movie? The one she did with Tom Hanks. You Got Mail.
Oh,
Like, that
yeah.
vibe is how it is when I don't have it smoothed out. But that's what I love about my hair. Everybody in here, like, what would you say you love about your hair?
I think the amount of hair that I have
Yes.
and the like interval.
I tell, because everybody's like, but your hair's so thick, and I pull it back to the ponytail, and I'm like, my family members, it freaks them out the most. Because they know when it was like,
What it used to be.
oh yeah, because I used to have to put when I wanted to do a ponytail, this is so ratchet, but I used to use the broccoli rubber bands. Because it's so much hair that I would bust the
Yeah, I
pink
got
color.
just 3 to put it
Yes,
on.
to get it up, yeah. Or the bust, they'll snap them. So I was like, okay. And now my daughter's hair is that dense. Like I have to do, for her to have the perfect Barbie ponytail, it's the ponytail inside and then I bring everything up. Because it's too much hair to manage into one ponytail. So, services, how are we going to get there? All right, so at that point, we're already giving them the list of what all we would need to do. So at this point, we will scale down the techniques. Are we gonna need to lighten? Are we depositing? Are we changing the tone completely, right? Then, what brands and shades are gonna be our best choice? If she's very indecisive and doesn't know, like you just introduced her to what her actual skin tone is, I always lean towards neutral the first appointment, because neutral will let you know where her baseline is. It creates the baseline, right? And then she could tell you, oh, I want it to be more of this. Unless they give me, like, Allison gave me the green light to do what I would want to do, because I always err on the side of cool because I'm warm tone. So if I see someone warm, like they have the green veins, I'm like, you really probably would look the best this way. But I've learned that if they don't give me that leeway, I'm gonna go neutral. Like my current obsession, and it's trending right now, even with the colors that we have, beige. I am obsessed with beige. I lean from beige to mushroom. Those are the two wheelhouses that I stay in, personally, because it's easy. And it's because neutral is man-made, right? Neutral is not like, that's why I tell people, and it's natural. It's never neutral. They're like, no, they said, it's natural. When you see in color, that is what primary tones would live at those particular levels. Neutral is when you bring equal parts cool to equal parts warm, and you make something happen and you flatten the playing field. So I try to lean towards neutral, and then depending on what they like, they're going to tell me if I need to go
It's
warm.
easy to scale either way.
Yeah.
from that
Yes,
point.
it's
Yeah.
not going
Once
to
you-
make you cooler
Once
from a
you go
neutral
cool,
point.
it's hard to change it.
If you go to
sometimes.
extreme the opposite way, then they're gonna be mad. With
They're not gonna be
neutral,
happy.
it's pretty easy to kind of slightly.
It gets you a second date.
Yeah.
There you go.
like
There
It
you go.
gets you a second date, and all I want is a second date.
That's right.
Yeah.
If I can get 2 appointments, I got you for 10 years.
That's right.
So I'm just trying to get to date number 2.
that.
So, and then, okay, then we're talking about how opaque or translucent do we want this to be. Am I boring y'all?
No.
Okay, cool. I was at the check-in, I was doing a temperature check. So when we say soft and subtle are gonna be your Illumina and your Champagne. Personally, I think if you have someone with less than 10% gray, I go straight in with Illumina. And I put that on that mind. What are we gonna be doing in the next, like I said, 5 months, 5 years to decade? Because I need to know. Yes, ma'am.
So my brain wouldn't do that because then you're bumping the base. That's the first thing my brain thought when you said I'd go straight to Illumina.
Well, then that would be us talking about developers. Because if they have less than 10% gray, I'm not gonna go over 20 volume.
I just did my hair color with Illumina a few days ago, and they use level 10, or about 10 volume rather, and because I didn't want to bump the
Deposit
base.
only.
Yeah, deposit only.
Yeah, or you could even go over 13 to make sure those grays get covered.
That's what
That's what
So,
I was thinking for.
All right.
Initially, that was what my brain
So we're
said.
gonna talk like hairstylists.
Okay.
All right, so here's the deal. When Illumina, what color is the Illumina box? You know, this is my favorite thing to go to. And what color are developers?
blue and red.
So what does that mean?
Use both.
So you don't necessarily need, so if you know you have grays, it's under 10% gray, you want to make sure your grays aren't the translucent part, right? You still want them to be covered. So I go in with 13 volume because it's just enough lift to cover that gray,
That's what I
but
use.
not enough,
Yeah,
not
I
enough
use
lift. And I'll tell you guys something. So this is such a tacky term of being hungry. So the lady that owns the salon, that's my bestie. We always tell everybody we probably ain't no married to each other. Because we refuse to take care of men, both of us. And her partner helps run the location. And I'm kind of like the in-salon management, and he's out of the salon management, like does all the banking and all of that. I'm just ordering and making sure that the newbies know what they're supposed to be doing. So for her, she's very much like, we have a term that we call sweetie betties. And that's, we're sweaty babies, we follow suit. Yeah, because we're perimenopause and hormonal. And so the body heat is different. Like your body heat is way different.
That cold shot on the hairdryer is a lifesaver.
Oh my God. Like, so, but with that, I always tell people, remember you can use the red developers with Illumina because Illumina, even if you use 1.9 pastel, it may still bump the base. But if you use the Color Touch 1.9, you don't, I don't run into that issue as frequently. So I'm always mindful. All my perimenopausals are pregnant. I'm like, oh no,
A
no.
lot more heat coming off of them.
Yes, ma'am.
But 4.0
Mhm.
13
with
volume.
Nina. What's your take on the box? Like,
It can
it's
bump.
so I didn't know. I did it,
It
and
will
but it wasn't
Depends on the
crazy.
hair.
And I was like, did I not leave it long enough,
No.
or was it?
It's just,
Thinner hair textures, I think.
because remember that, I always remember that the end goal for Illumina was to create nuanced color and hair like little kids. It's supposed to give you that dimension.
Natural.
So, very natural. So it's not an opaque coverage, but it's a bunch of, think about that level, we're gonna go with 9. Just going with 9, just rolling. That level 9, but it's violet, right? Like it's already a violet base, so it's gonna be a cooler color anyway. So that shift is just enough to give motion to the hair, but not enough to bump you like a base braid or bump.
Also depends on what level you choose to go with hair.
Yes, because
I haven't seen her come back in, so I was like, oh God, I hope there's not any, like, you know, or just, like when it goes out, I don't like that.
That's where my guess.
So I haven't seen her yet, but in the moment, I was like, okay, I looked at it in the light before, and then I looked at it in the light after. I didn't, to the naked eye, I didn't see, it wasn't significant, but I'm curious to see when she comes back in, what that girl.
what her take, yeah, what the rod looks like. Also, what her take is on it. Because a lot of people, because what's her, do you remember her formula?
No, I'd be lying, I really don't.
That's fair. Yeah, but it's gonna have some like.
She was great, I was great blending,
Oh,
so.
she'll be fine.
Yeah.
She'll be fine, because what you did was, you probably softened her grow outline, which is what she wants anyway. Because that's what I would want. We're not gonna talk about what we're gonna say going on, because I was breaking all kind of rules on my hair. But I, like my mids to ends toned out with aluminum, and my roots were done when I was blonde. I would do 12-stroke 8-9 with 2 parts 20 volume, let it process for 45 minutes, and then I would go to shampoo bowl. And because I knew that was gonna leave my roots a light denim color, I would go in with silver mauve mids to ends. That way it all fades and looks blonde, fades at the same time. Because we're alive, so and no matter how cool a blonde is, that big old fireball out there is gonna make it warm up anyway. So, like even this has a toner on it, because the flat iron makes my hair yellow. Because I don't flat iron my hair anymore.
Interesting.
Yes, I would. My gray hair, if I use the Beverly's flat iron, it makes my hair, it singes it. But I need that, because it's also humid outside and gross. But I didn't do it that. I hadn't done it in so long, so when I did the smoothing treatment, I was like, oh, okay. So like on my hair, this is 9-stroke, Color Touch 9-stroke 8-6, and like the full,
Softens it, yeah.
it gets the yellow out, and it just, because I have to, because even with gray blending, you still have to be mindful of their skin tone, right? Because on me, you can't do like just a regular 9-1-6. It's not cool enough for my hair. It's still gonna, because basically gray is like, it amplifies your skin color. So, with that being said, when I wear makeup, I have a ton of warm, I have 2 different highlighters and 2 different bronzers and a blush on, so that I look alive. Because in order for my hair color to look right on my skin color, it's very flat and patchy. So I have to counterbalance it with my makeup so that I look my age, but not young. Because that's never the goal. Commitment based on level of change. We have to talk about that. The bigger the change, the bolder the change, the more the commitment. So bleaching tone is our max out, right? That is the max service. Because you have to be here every 4 weeks with a bleaching tone. 5 at the latest. Highlights, gentle blonding, soft highlights, soft balayage, full head of color, or root touch-up can follow more in a commitment level of being more from drastic to subtle. Those are your, yes ma'am.
Real quick, because I see where on the blonding and gentle, it's highlights and balayage are the top 2.
Can't see it.
Tell me the foliage, because I'm a foliager, so
It's still balayage.
okay, even though I'm highlighting, like I feel like it's the ultimate service because you can still get your
Soft.
weave, you can still get high enough up, but you can still
You have
get
control.
out the ends.
Yes.
I'm a control freak at heart.
No.
And so, yes.
I would have never guessed.
So for me, it's like there's something about it, and it never fails the people who want to have that quote unquote balayage look or the tip outs. Their hair's so dark, so it's like I'm not gonna achieve that level on you without putting it in the forehead.
So, but you change the service. It's not just the foliage at that point, because the tip out is a different service. It's all under.
So we have balayage and we have highlights. And so whenever I do that, I typically lean towards the balayage because it takes me just, obviously our balayage is more expensive than
So like the Scandy Blonde, that's our AI Blonde is the newest thing that we came out with. The Scandy Blonde is a tip out with a traditional highlight. So that means you come do.
What is it called?
It's the Scandy Blonde.
Scandinavian. Stop. Well, I remember the hairline, the Scandinavian hairline.
Yeah, so
I didn't do this.
it's one of our AI blonding, and it's our elite AI blonding service. And I like live for it. I don't know how I didn't think of it myself sooner, but I'm glad we arrived there because because that's what we did in training. So one of my mannequins over there, she's my Scandi blonde. And she's got like a pre-tone on her, just because I want whatever y'all do to her to be an even tone. Because that blonding, there was a lot. Anyway, but it's a full on to the scalp highlight, and every third floor you do a tip out. And it's that where you have a traumatic experience.
No, I know. You said that and I was like, oh my god.
Exactly.
It makes so much sense, right? Yeah, but
Aha.
I never had the third foil come in, but I've just like kind of played around with patterns and like every
just
two,
gives-
every
Yeah,
other foil,
but that's-
every two foil. I just look at where the hair lays because it never fails. It's the most layered client that wants that.
Oh,
And so the
yeah.
tip outs, you have to be so strategic around the face. And
Yes.
it's like, oh, thank you for coming in. I'm so glad you came.
But that is also those are different services, right? Those are more modern services. Adding the tip out in, doing a combination, doing a hybrid. That's what I call a hybrid. Is when I may do so, and it's mapping things out, right? And I end up doing all of them. But that goes into our consultation. But that also explains to you what you can do for her budget, right? Is what I'm saying make sense? So we just lumped it together, but do I agree? What we charge for a highlight because of how fast we are, because Rosie and I both come from a visible changes type background. So we can foil all this till the cows come home. We can get in, get out.
Yep.
Yeah, because we had to. We just,
Yep.
we're trying. So we get in and we fall in. And we can do a really quick blow dry, both of us. Her not so much anymore, but definitely me. I blow you out, get you out the door, I get that. But when it comes to color, she'll be the first to tell you, go to her if you want something super precision. Because she's gonna take the time to do it. But I charge for that. So I always tell people, what you think you want and what we can afford to do today, those two may not mirror one another.
Yeah, and I
Not
feel like
literally.
it's a really, for me, in the last year, that has been the biggest challenge because sometimes, like, I know a girl that works somewhere and they're charging like $400 for the service that we're doing for $190. And so I'm like, am I not charging properly? Like, but the visible aspect of it is like when they leave here, you can see it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
so it's like, how do you balance that? Like, I guess sometimes I'm like, am I OCD and am I giving too much or am I not giving enough? Like, finding that balance has been hard.
That's a conversation between you and Martin, not to be like that's a definite Martin and your conversation because that is, I think, if I'm
Go,
overstepping.
please do. Yeah.
So how I would work that with Marty is I would talk to him and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do a consultation and I'm gonna tell you what my feedback is on that consultation. Or if it's a particular client where you want to give yourself a raise on, so to speak, then I would have him observe your consultation and then that way he can show you the areas where you need to sway this way, or this is how you let them know, or this is how you introduce that price point. And sometimes you just have to say, you know what, this is what this costs.
I think a lot of times we think that every service needs to be this Instagram big.
Project.
Sometimes you can build these things out over 3 services,
Yeah.
and it's not as painful for them. You still get the same effect. Plus, they look better because they're fresher,
Yes.
longer, you know.
You see them.
So just say, okay, or do just what you need to do, just what that particular service that they're booked for, and explain to them, now, if I went in and did this, this, and this for your next highlight, then it's gonna bring it brighter around here, this, and third. Because then you stay within their budget, you let them know that this may be a financial add-on. It just gives you control. It's communication. It really is. And when people see the difference, then that's easier to say, oh, well, then I'll pay for that service without you feel like you browbeaten.
If you're doing a bunch of teasy lights, that's going to fall more under a balayage
Yes.
price point. Yeah.
And it's
Just
okay
need
to
to look at it.
Grays, but like, so maybe once they think they want a balayage, but then they realize the gray is not blue
Oh,
as much.
so
What's your
that-
go-to service for that?
Oh, that's easy peasy for me. You get in one process and you get in the balayage. It's just what it is. And so what I normally do, this is such a rude word, you should record me. This is a rule break. This is a life hack.
Was she recording?
Tell me
Yes.
about it.
We'll talk about that rule break.
We can cut it out, we can cut it out. Just tell me.
Well, I don't-
Well, she does have some commitments under Wella, so.
Yes,
you
I
might-
can't
You better
take it.
delete
Yeah.
this.
Over there, on the other side. But I won't forget. You don't forget, and I won't forget. I'll tell you what I did.
I wanna hear this.
Yeah. Because it's, and then I'll show you pictures of what it looks like. It was only the only thing that I brought to the show was that, but also, it goes back to communication. But honestly, that's how I handle that. Because I don't always do a root smudge, but if I know they have gray, or if I haven't done their hair before, I do agree with Mark. It's not something that I go in straight away and do on a guest that I don't know. So, and remember, I do consultations. Consultations are mandatory. I will not just go in blind.
That'd be so.
So I'm gonna eat every appointment gets a consultation.
Important, yep.
Because again, I reserve the right, we have a big sign that says we reserve the right to refuse service. And it's not that I'm refusing, at this stage in my career, if I'm telling you no, I'm telling you not right now.
Yes.
I'm not saying never, ever, not never. I'm just saying give me a year consistency and we will eventually arrive at the hair that you desire. But I have to go in and fix whatever's going on that, try as you may, as a layperson, you do not understand.
I think most people, if you
But
explain it to
like
them, will
Instagram
appreciate
picture.
your
So
expertise
that's why
in that manner, you know, but you don't want to fuck their hair up.
That's what we're really missing
Yeah.
right now, I feel like, is building that path to what they want to
Yeah,
go
it's a
to.
date, man. It's a date. You cannot give everybody everything on the first day. Same girl, it took me a minute to learn it. Because I was you. That's why I think that's why I keep laughing in. I can relate to that. I was that person too as a new style.
I just
Like
want to do
the
it.
first, because like how long have you been doing hair?
Well, a lot's changed. I started in 2005.
Okay. So like,
Started as an esthetician in 2005.
Yeah, she.
That was hair?
I did hair.
You were doing hair?
Yeah, and then I went back for aesthetics because I didn't
Oh, okay.
physically get my license, and then I
Well,
went back for hair.
Stand corrected.
so 2005. Okay, also you gotta look at when you came into hair. That was the era of maximalism in hair.
It was definitely different. It was like chi was like the thing.
Oh, you were burning hair left,
We were
right, and
burning
center, honey.
a lot of color. And then I took a break from it, but I still went to
No
the salons. And so,
Oh, tone what?
Yeah,
It's gonna make my hair darker.
Tone what?
it's really interesting.
But raw lips is important now.
Raw lift.
Like raw lips is actually important now. It's trending again, and we'll talk about that too. But go ahead,
Raw
Raw.
lip is trending.
That's
I like
so
it
much.
too. It makes it.
I,
If you get them right.
we have not great water
No, it's not a good
Yeah.
idea, my opinion.
because it's not in our area. No, something has to go in there. I guess because also too, when I had my MC, the first thing that the guy named David Nevis, who was one of the teachers in New York, and he said, no one is ever that good that they don't need to tone. Everyone needs to tone. Because you're not toning. Toning is not about skill set or lift properly. Toning is to offset what the water is going to do, what the styling product is going to do, what the flat iron is going to do. We're not toning because we messed up. We're toning to preserve and to prolong the experience of what we created.
That's
I
what-
will say, if they're using pure Chinese pure, you can raw lift, and like that new line, like I'm pretty impressed.
What, the color?
Because
Okay,
you could pull it off with a raw lift if they're using it consistently. I really do.
I think you could. I wouldn't doubt that, which is why.
But that's,
Hey, I've been
you're
on
not there
there
to make
to
sure
do
that they're doing that, so.
Again, and that's just it. We again, like I said, I'm coming into this building every day, no matter most 5 days out of the week, right? So I know if I don't like something, somebody somewhere will trade service for a service.
Pop it on.
They're not. You know what I mean? They don't have the option. So I'm very transparent with them. Color equation. So what is the color equation? Color equation basically is identifying warm or cool. This doesn't say it, so I'm going to tell you what it is. Cool hair, cool eyes, warm color. Warm hair, warm eyes, cool color. Did I get the right? No. Yeah, I did. So in other words, like you're light eyes, you have light colored hair, and you have light eyes, right? So let me see your arms. See, you're neutral. Because you're neutral too, because their arms are kind of green. But if you see your client has blue veins, then they're gonna be more towards cool. And if they have green colored veins, then they're warm.
Okay.
So identifying it. But when you're toning, when you go to tone someone,
I don't know what I'm.
you're probably neutral. Most everybody in here, if they have like I would definitely consider you more of a warm neutral, just because of your brown eyes and brown hair. I would consider you, let me see arms. See, you're a cool neutral, because your eyes. So that's how I look at it. What color are their eyes? And if they have like that hazel, and that hazel leans towards green, then they're cool. They're a cool neutral. If their hazel leans more towards brown or green,
yellow.
brown or yellow topaz, they're a warm neutral. That means you can get away with some of everything, but
Like a gold beige will look good on it.
so that's the things you have to think. So always remember that if they're warm, then you want to neutralize with cool. That's why you have a lot of like darker or like Latinos that really want more of a cool blonde. And it's because it would look better against their skin. The warmer it is, but that's not always true, right? Because like some of them need to be like what I like to say on the beigey side, but a cool beige.
This is where dimension comes into play so much for me. Like,
Yeah.
you deal with a lot of neutrals here. Like,
Yes.
I feel like we have a lot more neutrals than people realize. And so, with that being said, it's like they do need both. Like, they need a blend of some cool with some warm.
Well, it's, I think what she's kind of hinting at is like you need some contrast.
Yes.
You know, you
That's
don't
what
want
it is.
the
It's
skin and the
dimension.
hair to be the exact same
No,
color. You
then
don't
you
see
look
where
weird.
one starts and
Yeah,
one
one
ends.
start doesn't be.
You know?
Like I'll never forget, I had the weirdest blonde, and I didn't
I've seen people like that. It's weird.
but it was because I was tinting back. I was going back to dark. So when I do a tint back, I don't tint back with, I don't tint back normally. I'll just go in and deposit a level darker each time I cover it until I finally get where I want level wise. And then I'm like, I pause, but I lean towards the cool. So it looked green to me. It did. But everybody's like, it looks so nice on you. It's like a level 8 stroke 2. But my hair was so like yellow. It was like the repair
The bottle.
underneath that it looked okay. But when it was freshly done, it looked like this bottle right here in the Emerald Collection.
Oh,
And I hated it.
Nah,
But everybody else that
Yeah,
used
because
to be
Stu
the
has like a
companies-
great base anyways, right?
Yes.
I can see how you can pull that.
But it looked really good on my skin because I'm so warm. But my mind could not recognize that as being something complimentary because to me, I don't ever want green or orange
I've got
hair.
green in my hair right now. I got blue. This is 8-1 Illumina with a shit ton of 2-8 concentrate
Yes,
with 10 volume. That's all.
I'm not mad at
And
it.
it's darker than I wanted,
But
but it'll.
that goes back to-
next
she's
so
week it'll be
purple
lighten
now.
up. It's
That-
very blue. If you look at it, it's
And
almost
it's
blue
purple,
green.
now that the sun's hitting you, it looks
Yeah.
purple.
I
Yeah,
don't
from here
care,
it looks a little
yeah.
purpley.
But that proves the point about when coloring men. When you color men's hair, they lean cool. They do not want warm color.
No.
At all.
My hair turns red otherwise. You know,
Right,
I don't
for
want
being
that.
in the sun, yeah, it's not, and that's the other thing too, right? When we talk about that, that's why I always tell people when you're coloring, no matter when you're using color, whether it's to tone or to color, you're either enhancing or neutralizing whatever that underlying pigment is living at that level. So you're probably like a 7
My
natural.
natural's about, used to be a 6 when I was younger, but it's
Yes,
really
7.
a gray 7 now.
Same for you, same. I used to be a solid like 2 when I was naturally, and now I'm probably, my 2 is probably where my natural color is
Yeah.
more like a 4.
Yeah.
And then with it being mixed in with the gray, it probably will react like a 5.
Yeah, yeah.
It's what it is. So, but that goes back to what men do not want to see any red or gold in their hair.
Oh, the freak out.
I freak out.
Because they're softening. They don't want to be softened. They just want
Right,
to
I want to be a man.
neutralize the And like, I'm still a man. Like, okay. My brother Greg wins. So I'm always on him about it. I was like, please. Because the first time he colored his hair, he came back and I was like, oh my God, you was like Count Chocula.
No, chocolate.
You look like Eddie Murphy and Vampire. Oh, I want him out. I want him out. He hated me for like 2 months.
Oh.
Cause it took him 2 months of haircuts to cut it all out. Like now he's so great. 7-stroke 8-6 is his toner. Or he'll do what I do if in the summer. In the summertime it's 7-stroke 8-6, but in the winter, like we just did his before the services, and I was like, well, I'm gonna put on you what I put on me. He was like, that's fine. So color equation, where to look, and I kind of showed you guys on the arms, usually the dead giveaway, the arms, the eyes, and the hair. All right, do y'all need a break? Take a break, and then we'll talk real quick, and then we'll do hands-on for the last,
Quick restroom break?
yes. Or if you need to smoke, whatever. Tips from the experts. I always set the scene, consult with clients without the cape or the drape. And then make sure, obviously, good natural lighting. I feel like Marty is taking care of a lot of these steps. So ask and listen, use open-ended questions. But the bigger thing is, make sure we're listening. If she has a visceral body reaction, note that.
Yes.
Note that. And it irritates everybody I ever work with. But when they're like, oh, I don't know, well, what don't you like? Because I'd rather know what to avoid.
Yep. I like
Because
that.
what don't you like? Because if you can't show me, if you love everything, then show me the things you don't like.
Most people can answer that too.
They can. And it is a very open-ended question. People don't think it is. They think that you're like, oh, well, you're only focusing on the negative. No, because what it does is it shows me how they
See the
perceive
picture.
color. Yes.
I ask a lot too, what color do you see?
Yeah.
Because
How do
my
you-
eyes are different than theirs.
Here's
And
the
they'll
thing.
think in a red and
Everyone's
say,
eyes are different.
yeah.
That's so
Here's the
important to
thing,
ask.
as colorists, we recognize that even if you look at those green leaves, you see yellow in it,
Yeah.
right? The client sees green. They see the yellow as damage. They don't see that the yellow is in throughout that green. It's like, okay, even looking at the clouds, right? If we look at the clouds, there's the white clouds and there's the overcast clouds that are gray. But because it is slightly overcast, the blue in the sky seems more like a real blue, a traditional, what we describe as blue, cool, on the cool side of color. But if it was a bright sunshiny day, it would be a creamy baby blue because of the warmth, the yellow would live there. You see what I'm saying? Even when you look at purple flowers in nature, you'll see bits of gold in it because everything in nature is alive, and if it's alive, it is warm. That is how when you hear people say, oh, they found a body, or how you know they're the person you found a body, because it looks great. I thought it was a mannequin, because it's not alive, because we're warm inherently. And so I always tell people, I know you like, huh? You're welcome, it's a little morbid. Yes. I'm so morbid. Like, I go to I hate to be, okay, look, all of us in here are like, you watch True Crime a little bit, just out of curiosity. So that's why I always feel like the dead bodies are relatable when it's so morbid, but I'm like,
I really didn't think anything of it. I was just like, yeah, that's
she's
it makes
right.
sense,
Yeah.
right?
She's
But
not wrong.
I've had some people tell me that's not kosher.
Justin's over here.
It's real life.
It's like, oh. So back to the point, like you always have to remind them that we're always either fighting warmth or embracing warmth. So when somebody tells me they want something gold, I'm like, yeah, we're going beige. Or go with something else in there to help it. Stay professional as best you can. It's hard because like I have clients I've had for 20-something years. We're professional for 5 minutes and then we revert to whatever age we met at. So, but avoid assumptions. Don't assume anything. And I mean, don't assume that you understand them. Don't assume anything about their budget. Anything. Because you end up shortchanging yourself. And them. Right? Because what's the number one reason why clients leave stylists?
They don't listen.
Change. They don't offer change. You don't listen enough to offer
Right, if
change.
you've done it forever and you just think they want to do the same thing forever, yeah, they're afraid to ask.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I would love, if you can take a day off and see me on a Tuesday or a Thursday when I have a little bit more leeway in my schedule, because those are the days I leave early. So my morning clients get the best version of me. My kids in tennis. So like, they get the best version of me because I'm open. I'm like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take on the world. Because Tuesday I'm fresh from the weekend, and Thursday I'm getting in my mojo because I know Friday and Saturday is gonna be wine dang doodles. It's like, so I always ask people, especially my Fridays and Saturdays, if you can't give me a morning, give me a weekday morning, and we can do all the changing you want to do. Like, I was loving when everybody was working from home. Oh,
Yeah.
everybody's hair was amazing when they worked from home. So, and guide with confidence. Offer 2 to 3 tailored options and explain why, especially once you have established the budget. I'm real big on like, okay, well, this is your budget, this is the best way to maximize that budget for maximum impact, right? So just talk to them like, hey, I can do X, Y, and Z at this price point, and then when I see you in, because in reality, real spill, y'all, we gotta start getting our guests back to 4 to 6 weeks. Because
Because they
they
don't look
have,
good for half the time they're going.
yes, they have a high definition camera in their hand. They have you do, your phone is a high def, and that thing got like 6 different cameras, can catch you in night vision.
Yeah.
Like it adjusts for lighting. I look at my phone, I'm like, I am pretty sure I am not doing everything I could with you.
Oh God, none of us are. And that's your advertisement too, walking around.
It is.
For 2 months, not looking good.
Especially like you, so my thought process is being in the Woodlands, it's a big, small town. It legitimately is your advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to check, if you're working
It's
in a
at
team,
5
one of y'all want
minutes.
to check the mannequin, go check the mannequin. So, placements for dimension. Areas of the head. So, we all know the root, the mid-lengths, and the ends. What do you think are the most common places where you need to be placed in dimension?
Mids.
Mids and ends. So you already know the ends are going to change color anyway because it's always hair that's been on the head. It's the mids you have to primarily focus on lightening up, right? Because you know at the very, you even blink too hard on those ends, they're going to clean up, just like the roots, right? And sometimes depending on what the outcome is when you're thinking about dimensional color, I'm always thinking about, is this a 1PC with dimension or is this a blonde that needs to see highs, lows, and mids? Okay? Because sometimes with blondes, you may do the highlighting service, and then when they come in the tone, you can play with it. Also, another person that you can play with different tone value, reds. So on my reds, I go in, I highlight my reds with magma only, because I want to lock in more red in there. I want to keep the red. Love magma. Because the worst thing you can do to a red, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is brown her out. So you go in with that magma, you decrease the risk of you browning out her ends. And then I'll do a root color, like when she comes in for a root touch-up, I'll do her root touch-up, and I may go in just like I do a curly hair client, and I will do zigzags, and I will use 2 different color reds for the mids to ends. And it gives a crazy amount of dimension. Also, if you do a copper, if you do stroke 07, 1 part stroke 07 to 2 part stroke 44, it makes a really pretty copper. I like it. So that's the takeaway. So the roots are always going to get taken care of because if they're coming in, if not, if they're doing a gray coverage or gray blending, if not, we talked about the roots. And we talked about like if they're coming in for a highlighting service or a foliage, we may just highlight around the face and do a traditional highlight to give money pieces, candy look, or maximum blonding around the face framing, right? And then we may do traditional balayage foliage throughout the back. Because foliage, and to go back to, oh my God, what's the beautiful one? What's her name? Samantha. To piggyback off of something Samantha was saying, is that you have to, foliage is going to give you high contrast. Balayage is subtle contrast. So when you foliage somebody, you're locking their hair in foil and it's doing what a traditional highlight would do, and it'll take them past the few levels of lift of a traditional balayage. That is the biggest difference between foliage and balayage, is creating contrast. Especially when dealing with brunettes and blondes that are not so natural. Areas of the head, we know the top of the head is the crown, around right here in this front, that's going to be your fringe. These are considered your hairline, and then your back section is from the crown to the occipital, and then you have from the occipital to the end of the hairline being, being your nape. And then you have, again, your lower hairline, and then obviously the hat line, which is where this is. Knowing those different sections, which is why when we were talking at the shampoo balls with Marty, sometimes when I'm low lighting a client, I don't do any low lights around the fringe or the hairline. I I keep my low lights at the fat line and above the occipital, but lower than the crown. I may take wide sections and put weaves, thin weaves, baby lights up there just so she can feel the diffusement. But honestly, they need low light, that's a different kind of conversation to be like, okay, we're gonna low light today, but let's think about maybe, like Marty said, let's think about maybe growing out some of your natural and spacing out your highlights so that the dimension will look more natural and not as forced, for lack of better words. And we're doing chunks, because I know I've heard rumors.
They're back.
They're back.
They want them.
Uh-huh.
Girl, I like to die when calico hair came back. I had a whole stroke. I was like,
I had a whole story.
and this was me when they came back. I was like, oh Lord.
Uh-huh.
Because
Block color.
I can handle black color. Black color doesn't scare me because black color I can identify which sections I need to rinse out first. Calico is different because then I need 3 different color foils because I have experience pulling them all out and rinsing at the same time.
Sober.
I was just like, we're just gonna need to give her this is free service. I remember saying that because I'm dating myself. I was working at Regis. Picture it, 2004. Christina Aguilera, Dirty was everywhere. Fire nice highlights everywhere with black highlights in between. And this assistant pulled all the foils.
Oh, wow, she still remembers.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm just standing there and I turned around and I'll never forget the boss was Judy Herrera and I just looked at Judy and I was like, I'm not charging her. I don't even know how this is gonna pan out.
Wow.
And she was like, what? She turned around and she looked, because her station was like in the middle like this. She just did like that and she was like, she just walked over to the shelf and started pulling products. She was like, because now we gotta give her something and not charge her. Because there was no, even with cold water, that black was gonna.
Is that black?
I'll take
Wow.
that wrong.
I'll die.
I love that because it's a great day. See, it's traumatic. I remember. Slices. This is another slide. I didn't take photos of slices at 1/4 centimeter, 1/2 centimeter, 1 centimeter. And this is going to be, you're going to see this again in the highlighting class as well as the surreal color class. And it's better to get these images. Also, whenever you see any lookbooks that we put out, these are the notes.
Well, on your,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, but also I think I have a guide in my phone for the standee for the new
Oh,
blonde.
yeah, send it to me.
I will send it to you.
I will share it with the crew here.
So slices versus weaves are going to be determined by the level of intensity and the desired result. Also, how much hair is left in between the foils, right? Those things determine what the impact is going to be like. Personally, it's crazy. I feel like it's a mixed bag depending on what the end result is. If I'm blonding, sometimes I want a lot of foil when I'm dealing with fine hair, and I would rather have 1 centimeter spacing for low lighting because I feel like if you, again, like I stated earlier, when you overly low light a blonde, you have in her reality made her a brunette.
Muddies it out. Yeah.
It muddies it out. So, direction for creating dimension. Direction, basically, just like when you think about hair cutting, you think about the physical movement of it, and coloring, like I said earlier, on bobs, I don't go lower than the occipital, because we're already, that hair texture that's ideal for a bob. Like, in my 20s, I could never have had this haircut. It would look like a much, had so much hair, it'd be goofy. It just looked like a wig. You know, even if you texturize it, then that becomes another issue, right? Because once the texturizing grows out, it's gonna make it more bushy. So, and I was not the best at blowing out at that age, so I was like, okay. But I can wear a pixie because I have so much hair and the natural curl, it works.
Yep.
Does that make sense? So you never have to worry about cutting a hole.
Beyond it, yeah.
You never have to worry about cutting a hole in my pixie because there's so much hair. So I was like, yeah, cut it off. So you always have to think about that with color as well. We used to have this, and I think if I can find it on this hard drive,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's so old. It's probably 10 years old, 9 years old. 10, I'm married at 10 because I think I've been doing this for 11 years, so it's about 10 years old. We used to have a class called Color Contour.
Yeah.
And that class is basically, this is a spin-off of that,
Okay.
more modern take on that. But it helps you to understand how diagonal placements and
Right, how it diffuses through the
how it
hair.
diffuses through the hair.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So direction is super important. So horizontal placement are gonna draw the eye left to right. That's why a lot of people, this is gonna help you a lot. So placement is super important because if you're foiling horizontally like that, you're losing so much stuff because it's going left to right. So when that hair falls over, it's falling over like sheets of paper. Whereas if you were doing it on a diagonal, you can, and it makes a bigger impact. Cause see, like this whole, if there was a part in a section, a slice that big on a diagonal is gonna make maximum impact. This is a big slice on that section. Even if you did a weave on that section, it makes a bigger impact than if you were just highlighting this. Does that make sense? So sometimes placement will have you using less foil, but getting a lot more impact while also maintaining the natural low light that on here. So verticals are really cool for peekaboos because verticals lay this way, so that means everything else is sandwiching that illusion in. So when they go to style their hair and put waves in it and they break those waves up, you'll see these invisible pops of different things. So I like to do a lot of vertical sections during the summertime on my clients that want to try Vivid or something like that, because you're not in the office as much, or in case some of my clients that are in education, they're not in the office at all, so they can have fun with their hair. But it'll disappear when they need to go and do like a teacher in service day. So placement line is super important. I do, and you'll notice within Wella's lookbook, we use a lot of diagonals because it's maximum impact, least amount of foils. So it's faster working. Make sense what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and this is how it shows. So this is what a diagonal forward would look like. It gives you a lot of impact on top, but then when you go to tuck it back, it kind of hides it. Diagonal backwards is going to give you minimal impact going forward, but when you tuck it behind the ear, you can really see it. And how do we teach our clients to curl around the face to go away? Because it makes softer, because rounded shapes around the jawline makes everything look softer. So we just did our demonstration. So care and maintenance, right? We always want to make sure that what we're doing in salon is going to maintain the color and repair or whatever we're taking care of. And then that's shampooing, maintaining color, detangling, finish, shine, 90-second repair, I think the top. And of course we have our Ultimate Smooth for dry, dull, frizzy hair, Ultimate Repair for all types of damaged hair. Also too, I'm not even gonna lie to you, sometimes I would reach for the Ultimate Repair for a new client just to give them like a palate cleanse. And then I will go in and do, and you didn't hear me say this, but because you do have a luxury line, I will go in with that, repairing at that price point. And then once we get the hair stabilized, finding the appropriate in the luxe side. That would be how I would.
That's good. That's good advice.
You know what I'm saying? That way you get them used to the concept of buying stuff. That's why it's good to have like a Sebastian and the Wella. So I hope that ties into your business model. Okay. So we have also even that doesn't really, like when the hair is healthy and fine, or healthy or normal, not fine, healthy and normal, you can just go on with color motion if they don't, is a good alternative to the color care in Orbe, as well as brilliance. We did our hands-on workshop. So here are a few professional business tips. Start with intro packages whenever, we're talking to new clients. Like, but there's something more I'm gonna send this to you, Marty, so you can look at it. I'm not gonna talk to your spouse because I think y'all are a team. But like, definitely talk to them about intro packages to care. That's a big thing. And also, I'm not gonna talk about that, that's gonna be it. But also upsell and make sure you pre-book your clients.
Yes.
So I usually do most of the ringing out because we have a you ring yourself out kind of a program. So I usually take care of the honest stuff too. And she's like, dude, how are my sales going up? I was like, because I'm still selling product for your clients. And she's like, are you serious? Because we worked together since we were in our 20s, so I am not a salesperson. But I am going to put up here what you need, what I've done, why you like your hair. You buy what you can, but I put it up here.
It's not really about selling. If you do all that and teach them about it.
Yeah.
It comes
I'm
naturally.
big on putting stuff in people's hands.
Yeah.
Like, what was the first thing I told you? Go smell it. Go smell it.
Yeah.
Touch it, smell it.
Touch it, smell it. Because the minute they smell it, even if you don't like the smell, they probably will. Slap it on them. They'll buy it. They will buy it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.